What's up guys, and welcome back to Induction Noise. And you might see the brakes is off again, and unfortunately that is due to a miscalculation in the buying department. So as some of the Mark III guys would know, when you're purchasing this Mercedes calipers to do the brake upgrade, you need a 1998 to 2001 or 1996 to 2001 W220 Mercedes brake calipers. But there's a number on the calipers that's quite important, and that number is 330. Unfortunately, this is a detail that I missed when buying our calipers, and that I didn't really think was necessary to look for because it was the right year model Mercedes, or so it is seen as. So long story short, our brake calipers says 312, which means you could only fit a 312mm disc over the carrier that the brake calipers has. It's from a later model Mercedes. So the calipers itself is fine, but the carrier is too small. So, and this is something I didn't want to do, and we tried to avoid by seeing what other disc would fit. And funny enough, a Val disc is the closest, and a Sonata, because they're 310, between 300 and 310 millimeters. A Val being the 310 one, but it doesn't fit over the hub. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the entire knuckle assembly off, and in the middle machine we're going to be slotting the holes that's here currently and creating our own custom bracket on the knuckle. Now you might ask, is this really safe? But with carbon steel that this is, it does take very well to welding, and we can build quite a strong bracket, so it should not be an issue. If we do see at any point that this is going to be dangerous, we will stop and get proper knuckles and see gone with that idea. But with the help of the Oaks here, and once again, thank you immensely to the owner of the workshop. He's been helping us so much through the entire process, and with his knowledge, and we'll be able to do this and do it safely. So just once again, a big thank you, if I have not said enough. But yeah, so I've got the camera here to start the time lapse. It's nothing too exciting, and you'll probably see this video over a few days. You'll probably see Neil or Andre or Quentin pop in somewhere, but I believe Neil will pop in tomorrow when we might have this on the milling machine. So tonight is just me getting this off so that we can have it properly on the milling machine, welded in the front, welded in the back and everything. And then while we have them off, we might as well take the steering rack off, since it's leaking, so that we can have that rebuilt. So that's also why the car is standing here, so it's completely out of the way. So I'm gonna start taking these off. I'm gonna run the time lapse. It might not be the most exciting video. We're gonna get a bit technical once we start doing the measurements of where we want to slot and cut. But the aim of the game is to have the caliper in the right angle that it is sitting currently, just a bit up. So it won't go up sideways, up straight up. It needs to go in that same direction. So I'm gonna get this off, I'm gonna run a time lapse, and we're gonna do the calculation of what needs to happen to slot this in a safe manner. So if you're thinking of doing this upgrade, keep that number in mind on the caliper. Cool, I'm gonna get started. Let's roll the time lapse. That one almost went scary. I used the extendo bar to start removing this nut. Oh, there goes the time lapse. and I almost didn't realize it's a reversed thread. So I almost did some bad damage. So whenever you can, and whenever a bolt feels like it doesn't want to move, just always go grab a daga or whatever the hell. Make sure that it is the correct way around thread or the wrong way around thread. So in this case, the reverse thread. So yeah, one more bolt and we should have the knuckle off. It's going too quickly, so hopefully it stays like that. But you never know with an old Supra. Might be a Toyota, but it does put up a fight some days. So let me get the last bolt out. Honestly, that went way easier than I was expecting. So what is cool now is you see these two holes, right? That is where the caliper bolts up to. So what we're going to be doing is slotting this one further out like this. So we're going to create a little loop, a bigger loop here, and then we'll see where this wants to fall. So in general, when you're going to be slotting up here, you're probably going to be following the same direction here, right? So we've got little spaces that I might be able to show you. This is what we made last weekend, just as a test to see how far we needed to push the caliper away. So we have these little, there we go. We have these little things that we made, very nicely machined. So imagine this is going to be sitting about there, right? And then the same with this. So look, you don't have to imagine it, because hopefully, fingers crossed, you're going to be seeing this tomorrow for me, but in like a second for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get everything else off on the other side, and then we should see you the next day, but in a second for you, obviously, of us cutting into this knuckle and making the new brackets for it so that we can fit our calipers. So let's skip a bit ahead. Right, it's day 2 now, and we're going to start customizing this knuckle as we said. So what we're doing is, I'm going to show you here. Basically, I've got it in this milling machine, and what we're doing is we're going to go 4 millimeters out here, 4 millimeters out here, and then that should give us the clearance that we need according to calculations to clear the disc. So once we've done that, we'll mark it up with the spaces that we're gonna make on the milling machine, on the lathe, and see if that works. Once that works, then I can weld it on. Well, I'm not going to tack it on, I can't weld, but we're going to tack it on, and we're going to see, okay, is it still happy where it sits, and then we will fully weld it so that it is one piece of metal again and not brittle at all. So let's get to that and see how it goes. After we've now slotted the knuckle and everything, I've got it on the bench here, and let me show you the spaces we've made. You'll see there's spaces that's in there, which then gives clearance here for everything there and there, and there and there, and here in the back. And now, for the first time ever, this spins completely freely. So now what we're going to do is tack up those spaces in there that you can see in there, which then will become part of the knuckle. So since that's then part of the knuckle, you won't have to align anything funny or so. It's going to always be a part of the knuckle, and we can always just go get regular old 350Z discs, and then just replace them as need be. So this is perfect. It came out better than I could have expected. And I mean, once again, we have the amazing tools here to do this, so why not? Now we have a full custom knuckle that will always be able to run Z discs with these calipers. And I mean, that's more than we need, so that's perfect. We just laid a few tacks here so that that spacer is now tacked on here. Now I'm going to loosen this up and then we're going to fully weld it. The final result, and I mean, that should go nowhere. As you saw, the disc spins, so I'm 100% happy with that. What we will do is just get these knuckles back on and then we will be good to go again. So guys, if you are doing this upgrade on your Mark III Supra, make sure you get the caliper from the S500 that says 350 on it. If you get the one that says 312, be warned, this is what you're gonna need. And if we didn't have this awesome workshop, we wouldn't have been able to do it. So until next time, stay classy, San Diego.